Pt.2, I never asked my parents for money, but when they saw my $14 million bank balance, they screamed, "How dare you hide this from us?" I smiled and said, "Remember when you kicked me out?" As if trying to convince herself it was real, Malene just stood there, mouth slightly open, staring at the original Monet on my wall. I opened my laptop, pulled up my banking dashboard, and turned the screen toward them. Since we're being honest now, here's my current balance, all 14,236,542 of it. My mother actually gasped. My father's hand started shaking. Malene dropped her designer purse, the one she always bragged about at family gatherings. "This is why you're here," I continued, pulling out a folder. "You need help with the mortgage. 3 months behind, if I'm not mistaken. The bank is threatening foreclosure." "How did you?" Malene started. "I own shares in that bank," I said flatly. "I know everything about our family's finances. I know about Dad's failed investments, Mom's credit card debt, and your underwater real estate ventures, Malene." My father finally found his voice. "You knew we were struggling and did nothing? Your own family." I stood up slowly, placing both hands on my desk. "Remember the night you kicked me out? Don't come crawling back when you fail, those were your exact words, weren't they?" "That was different," he sputtered. "We were trying to protect you from making a huge mistake." "No," I said firmly. "You were trying to control me. There's a difference." I walked over to the window, looking out at the city I conquered while they weren't watching. For 10 years, I built this company from nothing, no help, no support, no encouragement from my family. Just hard work, determination, and the gift Grandma Rose left me. My mother's head snapped up. "Rose, what did she? She believed in me," I cut her off. "She saw what none of you could, that I had a vision worth believing in. She gave me the tools to start this journey, but I built this empire myself." I turned back to face them. "Every holiday dinner, every family gathering, I listened to your subtle jabs. Still working at that little art shop, Sarah? When are you going to get a real job, Sarah? You could always come work for my company, Sarah. We need someone to handle the mailroom." Malene had the grace to blush at that last one. It had been her favorite dig at our last Christmas dinner. "Now you need my help," I continued. "Now suddenly I'm worth acknowledging. Now that you've seen my bank balance, I'm finally good enough to be part of this family." My father stood up straighter, his businessman persona taking over. "We can discuss the past later. Right now, we need to talk about the mortgage. As your family, stop right there," I held up my hand. "Let me show you something." I pressed a button on my desk, and the large screen on the wall came to life. Financial documents appeared, bank statements, property deeds, investment portfolios. "This is everything," I said. "Every debt, every failed investment, every financial mistake. The total amount needed to clear everything, and put this family back on solid ground, is exactly $2,400,000. My father's eyes lit up with hope. Malene started to smile. My mother reached for my hand across the desk. I pulled my hand back. "I have that amount set aside in a separate account. I've had it set aside for years, actually. Every time you hit a rough patch, every time you nearly lost the house, I watched and waited. I wanted to see if any of you would ever try to actually fix things yourselves. But you never did," I continued. "Instead, you took out more loans, you remortgaged the house, you borrowed from friends. You did everything except admit you needed to change." I sat back down at my desk. "So here's what's going to happen. I will clear every debt. I will save the house. I will even set up a trust fund to ensure this family never faces financial hardship again." They all started to speak at once, but I held up my hand again. "But there are conditions," I said firmly. "First, Dad will retire. No more risky investments, no more trying to prove yourself. Second, Malene will close her failing real estate business and go back to school. I know you always wanted to be a teacher, before Dad pushed you into business." Malene's eyes widened. I was the only one who remembered her original dream. "Third," I continued, "Mom will finally start that small bookstore she's always dreamed of. I'll provide the startup capital." My mother started crying quietly. She'd given up that dream 30 years ago to support Dad's business ambitions. And finally, I looked each of them in the eye. "We're going to have weekly family therapy sessions. All of us. Because money isn't our only problem, and I'm tired of pretending it is." My father started to object, but my mother put her hand on his arm. "We'll do it," she said softly, "all of it." I nodded, then pressed another button on my desk. My assistant entered with a stack of documents. "These papers make everything official," I explained. "The debt clearance, the trust fund, the conditions, everything. Take them home, read them carefully. If you agree, sign them and bring them back tomorrow." As they stood to leave, still looking shell-shocked, I added one more thing. And Dad, that thing you said 10 years ago, about me crawling back when I failed. He looked at me, his face a mixture of shame and regret. I never failed, I said quietly. I just succeeded without you. They left my office in silence, clutching the documents like lifelines. Through my window, I watched them get into their car and drive away. My assistant came in with a cup of tea. She always knew when I needed it. Are you okay? She asked gently. I thought about the past 10 years. The long nights, the hard work, the lonely holidays. But I also thought about the strength I found, the confidence I built, and the woman I've become. Yes, I said, smiling slightly. I think I finally am. The next day, they returned with the signed papers. We began the process of rebuilding, not just their finances, but our family. It wasn't easy. Years of resentment and hurt don't disappear overnight. But slowly, we started to heal. My father actually apologized, something I never thought I'd hear. My mother opened her bookstore, which became a beloved local landmark. Malene went back to school and now teaches art to elementary students. She's never been happier. As for me, I kept building my empire, but now I do it openly. No more hiding, no more pretending to be less than I am. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't making others feel small. It's showing them how big you can become without their approval. My grandmother's old jewelry box sits on my desk now, a reminder of where it all began. Inside, there's still one piece I've never sold, a simple gold locket with her picture in it. On difficult days, I open it and remember her words. True art isn't just about creating beauty. It's about seeing value where others see nothing. She was right. And sometimes, the most valuable thing you can find is your own worth. This is where our story comes to end. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, share, and follow. Thanks to all for your support.